All you can eat no longer means what you think it means. We've talked before about how all you can eat in Las Vegas is evolving, but no place shows that better than the 5 all you can eat options at the Venetian. We tried all 5 and found everything from old school buffet lines to the newer made-to-order endless brunch format, with a few hybrids in between. So which one is the best? Welcome to Let's Eat Vegas, your guide to the good, the bad, and the delicious. I'm a chef and former restaurant owner, and I tell it like it is. Okay, let's get started. Starting this countdown, in last place, is Tao Asian Bistro. And yeah, it earns it. Walking into Tao, it's dark, really dark. The music's loud, the room's packed, and the food, you're squinting just trying to see what you're eating. Not exactly the setup you want for a buffet. Now, this is a full-on traditional grab a plate, get in line, pull your food out of a chafing dish kind of buffet, but with an Asian theme layered over it. And that's what makes this interesting, because this isn't just any buffet, this is Tao, a brand known for bold flavors and strong execution. But buffet cooking, that's a completely different animal. Let's begin with the best thing here. These are legit. Clean, fresh, no fishy smell, which tells me they're turning them over quickly. A little mignonette, maybe a touch of hot sauce. And honestly, you could park right here and justify the $65. If you're an oyster person, this is a great deal. Now, another Wynn. Big, plump shrimp, sweet, fresh, handled right, and the cocktail sauce actually has personality. Thicker, with a little heat, a little edge, not your stand-up ketchup and horseradish situation. This definitely works. Visually, this nigiri looks solid. Salmon, tuna, yellowtail, bright color, clean presentation. The salmon is a standout. Nice fat, good texture. The tuna is decent. The yellowtail has a slight funk. Not terrible, but not clean either. For a buffet, it's above average, but nothing special. And now the slipping continues. The sashimi, tuna and yellowtail is fine, but that's it. No rice means nowhere to hide, and the quality just isn't there to support it. The rolls look like they're trying, but they don't quite get there either. Spicy tuna has some heat, but that same fishy off note shows up again. The yellowtail roll, confusingly built, barely any spice, and when you're leaning on sriracha to make it work, that tells you everything you need to know. This whole section, skip it. Shumai should be easy, and yet, rubbery wrappers, dense texture, and a fishy note that just won't go away. Not the worst I've had, but in Vegas, you've got 100 better options. The hargao is slightly better, skin's a little thick, but the shrimp is clean, slightly sweet, and actually enjoyable. So not a total loss, but not enough to save it either. And this is where the wheels really came off. The Tokyo slider, it eats like a fast food chicken sandwich. Pickle, cheese, stale bun. And then the Wagyu slider, and I'm going to be blunt here, there's nothing Wagyu about this experience. Thin, overcooked, dry, no richness, no care, and no reason to eat it. This is a hard pass. So here's the problem with Tao's buffet. It flashes moments of quality, but it can't sustain it. You've got oysters and shrimp that hit, and then a long stretch of food that just doesn't. We could go on, but the rest of the food was equally hit and miss, mostly miss. And at $65, that's just not good enough. In a city like Las Vegas, you don't get points for trying. You either deliver or you don't. And out of the 5 spots at the Venetian, Tao Asian Bistro delivered the least. Hopefully, you're finding we deliver food reviews of value. If so, go ahead and like, comment, share, hype, or hit that subscribe button. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the subscriber who starts a viral wave. This is one of the most unique brunches in Las Vegas. It's your typical buffet, as all the food is pre-made and sitting in dishes for you to come and take. But then it's not typical, as this is lighter fare that leans hard into high-end 5-star Middle Eastern cuisine, Tel Aviv style. Normally around $60, but locals are getting it for half off right now, so about $30 a person. And at that price, this becomes pretty interesting. Because this food, well, this is the epitome of freshness. So beautiful, I almost don't want to eat it. This is one of those dishes you want to frame, or at least post it on Instagram before you even think of disturbing it. Roasted red and golden beets, sliced paper thin, lightly seasoned, finished with creme fraiche. There's coarse finishing salt dusted on the table for decoration, yes, but it's edible, and you'll want to add a few pinches to your beets since they border on the bland side. It will actually help bring the dish to life. It's stunning, truly beautiful, but flavor-wise, doesn't quite match the presentation. Good, but not unforgettable. Now this is a different story. These shrimp are massive. Each one feels like it deserves its own spotlight. Plump, perfectly cooked, with a light char that adds just enough depth. The sauce is where they separate themselves. This isn't your standard ketchup-heavy cocktail sauce. It leans more toward fresh tomato, almost like a light gazpacho. Bright, clean, slightly sweet, and the shrimp, they taste exactly as good as they look. Presentation? Beautiful. Flavor? Well, a step behind. The fish is fresh, no question, but the marinade feels a little too restrained. Needs more salt, more punch. This is one of those dishes that looks better than it tastes. These feel like something you'd see at a high-end dinner party. Chilled polenta, cut into small rounds, topped with cream cheese, smoked salmon, and fresh dill. Elegant, clean, and well-balanced. If you're a salmon fan, and even if you're not, this works. These alone might be worth the visit. Fresh-made pretzel bagels, chewy, salty, deeply satisfying. You can eat them on their own, but with the lox and cream cheese, even better. They're filling, but hard to stop eating. Burekas is a dish with roots in Sephardic Jewish cuisine. Flaky pastry filled with savory ingredients. Here, the pastry is light, layered, almost like a refined puff pastry. The filling? Ground lamb, potato, comté, and ricotta. Rich, warm, and comforting. Finished with sun-dried tomato pesto and creme fraiche, this is a strong plate. This is comfort food elevated. A crispy potato latke topped with high-quality sturgeon caviar. The exterior is shatteringly crisp, and inside, almost creamy. And underneath, a deeply rich peppercorn sauce that's so good you'll want to pick up the plate and drink it. This is indulgent, thoughtful, and extremely well executed. If you were to order but one add-on, make it this. Brioche, custard-soaked, cooked perfectly. Soft, rich, almost pudding-like inside. Topped with creme anglaise and fresh berries. This is one of the best desserts or brunch items you'll find on the Strip. For me, this was easily today's standout. Hasalan is a traditional buffet in serving style, but not where the cuisine is concerned. This is about freshness, presentation, and a more refined, curated experience. And at half price for locals, there's real value here. But it's not for everyone. Flavors are more delicate, and some dishes lean more toward visual impact and bold execution. That said, when it hits, it really hits. And for something this unique in Las Vegas, that alone makes it worth experiencing. So now we move into the newer style of all-you-can-eat. No buffet line, no chafing dishes, just made-to-order food brought to the table, and as much of it as you desire. Every weekend, Lavo offers a $65 endless brunch. It's one of the most popular on the Strip. But popularity and performance, those aren't always the same thing. This is table service all you could eat. So in theory, you're ordering freely, everything made fresh, no buffet lines. In reality, when this place fills up, and it does, endless brunch can start to feel like an endless wait. That said, the room is beautiful, the energy is high, and it's one of the better people-watching spots in the building. So the question becomes, does the food still justify the hype? Well, let's find out. Well, let's start where Lavo gets it right. You can order up to 24 oysters per table, and if you take advantage of that, you're already closing in on your value and are ahead of the game. The oysters are clean, briny, with that fresh ocean liquor still sitting in the shell. That's always a good sign. The mignonette is balanced, just enough acid to lift without masking. The cocktail sauce brings a sharper, more classic punch. Simple, done right, and delicious. This is one of the strongest offerings on the menu. This is yet another Lavo standout. The pasta is excellent. Proper bite, holds together, clearly made with care. But it's the sauce that carries this dish. Slow cooked, rich, and developed. It clings to the pasta the way it should. Nothing loose, nothing rushed. This feels like a real kitchen dish, not something built for volume. If you come here and order one thing, this should be a serious contender. As is common with this endless brunch concept, they have add-ons available, and this is one of the strongest you should consider. It's a $15 upcharge, but compared to the regular menu price of $70, it's a great deal. The first one came out overdone. That's not ideal, but it happens. So we did what one should do. We sent it back. Sadly, it took quite a while to get our server's attention. But eventually, we had our second attempt, and this steak is done right. It's fantastic. Proper medium rare, great quality beef, grassy notes, and big flavor. It's simply seasoned to perfection. The Escoffier-style sauce brings that classic richness, and the roasted garlic was a perfect addition to bring out the complexity of the steak. When executed correctly, this is a hit. Now, on to something lighter, and this is where things shift a bit. This leans more French-Italian in approach. Clean, simple, restrained. Maybe, though, a little too restrained. It's crying out for salt. So was I. As served, this dish is underwhelming and lacks cohesiveness. I've had the penne alla vodka here many times, and it's still good, balanced, well executed, but lighter than it used to be, and missing depth. There used to be prosciutto here, the salty backbone that gave the dish weight. Without it, it works, but doesn't quite live up to those glory days I remember. This Caesar salad tells you a lot about where the kitchen is right now. This is a reasonably solid attempt. Well-dressed, good Parmesan, properly balanced, but also no edge. A well-made Caesar should be like a wild ride with Mario Andretti. Instead, this was like a dull ride with Carl Codger. And in a lineup like this, I expected so much more. And then there was this, a pizza I long remembered as a standout. Now, it feels like a stand-in. What did they do with the truffle? All I see is large-cut mushrooms scattered across the top. There is a hint of truffle oil, but it's been heated, so you're barely getting anything from it. And once you call something truffle, well, you've set expectations. It's said expectations can be disappointments waiting to happen. Well, that's what happened here. As a mushroom pizza, maybe, but as a truffle pizza, a huge miss. Unfortunately, dessert didn't change the story. The chocolate peanut butter cake is the best of the group, mostly because the frosting carries it. However, that's not saying much. Everything else, dry, off texture, or just forgettable. All in all, these desserts left me dreaming of a handmade peach pie waiting for me at home. So where does that leave Lavo? This place has real strengths. The oysters are wonderful and the bolognese is spectacular. The steak, when done right, had big flavor that you'll be thinking about days later. But it's not as consistent as it should be. Too many dishes feel like they've been pulled back, simplified, or just not finished. And that's not what this experience is supposed to be. So now we go to the middle ground. Part classic buffet, part fresh-made comfort food, and one of the most dependable brunches on the Strip. I discovered Buddy V's not long after they started serving their all-you-could-eat brunch. And I have to say, it's one of the most consistent brunches on the Strip. The menu has barely changed over the years, and honestly, I respect that. Because when something works, why mess with it? And more importantly, the food tastes the same every single time I come here. That consistency is rare in Las Vegas. Buddy, a fellow paisan, cooks the way my Nona used to, with heart and soul. And, just like my Nona, the man can bake. I'm still not entirely sure what they officially call this roast, but whatever the name, it's fantastic. Deep, rich umami flavor, beautifully seasoned, juicy, and tender. Honestly, one of the best carving station meats you'll find anywhere in Las Vegas. The amount of seasoning infused into this beast of a roast is almost obscene. Every bite carries flavor all the way through. And they serve it with a chimichurri, which, side note, is definitely not Italian, but surprisingly good alongside the homemade horseradish. And the crazy part, this thing almost rivals my all-time favorite beef cut, prime rib. I never thought I'd say that. These are not those tiny, ever-shrinking buffet shrimp you see all over town. These are fresh, plump, sweet, ocean-brined shrimp served properly chilled over ice with homemade cocktail sauce. Another must-try. This is one of my favorite Caesar salads in all of Las Vegas. As many of you know, I was lucky enough to have the original Caesar salad at Caesar's Grill in Tijuana many times growing up. I made it in my own restaurant, and I have tremendous respect for a properly made Caesar. And this one deserves to stand with some of the best. Garlic, anchovy, Parmigiano Reggiano, everything a great Caesar should have is here. But Buddy adds his own little twist. Polenta croutons. Made fresh in-house, still slightly warm, and absolutely sensational. Of course, being a Jersey boy from Hoboken, Buddy had to include wings somehow. I'm not sure what the full backstory is here, but I do know one thing. These are delicious. Bold, garlicky, packed with flavor, and surprisingly addictive. Even if you would normally skip wings at brunch, give these a shot. I think you'll be surprised. And then there's the mac and cheese. Except this isn't really traditional mac and cheese. This is more like if Alfredo pasta and mac and cheese had an Italian-American love child. Homemade pasta, rich, creamy sauce, great cheese. It's comforting, rich, and one of the standout dishes on the buffet. These may be my favorite sausages in Las Vegas. Slightly sweet, juicy, with little pockets of gooey cheese stuffed right into the casing. And as someone who comes from a family of sausage makers, that's not praise I hand out lightly. Now, I admit, I do slightly prefer the full dinner version they serve here. Huge cutlets, pounded thin, beautifully crisp. But considering this is a buffet, these smaller brunch versions are remarkably good. Fresh tomato-forward marinara, melted cheese, crispy breading, classic Italian-American comfort food done right. One of the things they do frequently change here is the dessert selection, but they're almost always good. Fresh baked over at Carlo's Bakery. Carlo is Buddy's son. You can literally watch trays of desserts moving back and forth into the restaurant all day long. And with a nickname like the Cake Boss, you'd expect Buddy's desserts to deliver. And they do. The cheesecake is outstanding, light, creamy, more old-school Italian style than dense New York cheesecake. The pecan tart has a buttery crust and rich filling that tastes homemade in the best possible way. And those chocolate-covered strawberries. Fresh, tart strawberries dipped in dark, bittersweet chocolate. Simple, classic, and the perfect way to end the brunch. Buddy V's proves you don't have to live strictly in the old buffet world or the new made-to-order format. This hybrid middle can work. So our number one Venetian spot shows us the very highest level of the new endless brunch concept. No buffet lines, no steam tables, just a serious kitchen cooking fresh food to order over and over again. Just when you think things can't get any better in Las Vegas, they do. This new style of endless brunch seems to be taking over the Strip. It's made to order, brought to your table, as much as you want. And right now, one of the most talked about versions of it is right here at Mott 32. Now, I'll be honest, I came in skeptical. Another endless dim sum brunch on the Strip, $68. That's a bold ask. But then, the food started coming out. This is a good first test. If the kitchen gets this right, you're probably in good hands for the rest of the day. Thin, delicate wrapper, beautiful pleats, and that rich soup inside, exactly where it should be, not leaking out all over the dish or your clothes. You bite in, let the broth come out first, and it's deep, savory, and full of flavor. Then the Iberico pork hits. Richer, cleaner, more depth than standard pork. This is how it's supposed to be done. And another benchmark. The wrapper has to be thin enough to turn translucent, but strong enough not to break. That's not easy, and these nail it. Slightly chewy, delicate, just enough structure, and inside, the shrimp is clean, sweet, and fresh. The yellow chives add a subtle lift without overpowering anything. Simple, refined, and executed perfectly. This is where things get interesting. They take the classic Sholong Bao and layer in heat, vinegar, and depth. You get that rich broth, but now with a tangy edge and a gentle Sichuan kick. It's bold, but still balanced. Same story with the other dumplings. You're getting variety, creativity, and a kitchen that actually understands restraint. Nothing feels random. Everything has intent. These are serious pork ribs. Deep, glossy glaze, sweet, savory with that signature black vinegar tang. The meat is tender, pulls apart easily, but still with a bit of resistance. It leans into that char siu territory, but with more depth and balance. If nothing else came out after this, I'd still be happy. This is where the range of this kitchen really shows. The duck salad is lighter, more modern, crispy duck, bright dressing, fresh greens, balanced and not heavy. Then you go to the noodles, and you're in full comfort mode. Fresh made, wok-fired, with that real wok-hei coming through. Smoky, savory, and clean. Two completely different directions, all in one dish. Both executed at a high level. Nothing escapes the personal touch at Mott 32. Unlike many restaurants which serve dim sum, the barbecue pork buns here are made in-house. Every element from scratch. These are light, slightly crisp on top, soft inside. Sweet, rich filling that doesn't overwhelm. And the desserts. Well, usually desserts are total letdown at Asian restaurants. But here, that's not the case. They don't just serve dessert, they present it. You can feel the pride as the dry ice veil lifts and the full assortment takes shape. Bright flavors, eye-catching presentation, a dessert tray to remember, and a bit of fun to close things out. I think the real difference with Mott 32, this isn't just all you can eat. This is a real kitchen doing real cooking at a high level. Every dish feels intentional, nothing feels like it's cutting corners. And when you combine that with the format, order as much as you want, all made fresh, this isn't just the best option at the Venetian. It's one of the most complete dining experiences in Vegas right now. And that's why Mott 32 takes the #1 spot. So now, I want to hear from you. Which one would you try first?
Get out of the way!
Oh my! If you want to keep the all-you-can-eat tour going, check out our showdown between two of the biggest names in Las Vegas buffets, the Wynn versus the Bacchanal. You'll also find another Let's Eat Vegas video right here. Well, we'll be back to the Venetian soon. Who knows, maybe you'll see us there. And don't forget to tell them Let's Eat Vegas sent you.